again. Thank you for joining us. Our program is being sponsored courtesy First Mortgage Group, Inc. in Fairfax, Virginia. If you are a homeowner and haven't refinanced recently, now may be the time. Even if you were turned down for one reason or another, new laws and guidelines are making it easier for homeowners to take advantage of these low rates. I started my real estate career in 1979, then moved into mortgage banking in 1983, and I've never experienced interest rates this low. The mortgage process can be intimidating and confusing, so we are going to demystify the whole process in this program. We will break the information down into 4 areas. 1, the 3 major entities to apply for a loan. 2, the 4 distinct departments. 3, documents you must sign at application. 4, the closing. Okay, 1, we're going to talk about where you're going to apply for a mortgage loan. There are 3 major entities for obtaining a mortgage loan: banks, mortgage bankers, and mortgage brokers. We're going to discuss the differences. Banks are licensed to receive deposits. They make mortgage loans, they issue checkings and savings accounts, and they sell financial investments. They're more or less general practitioners. Mortgage bankers, on the other hand, are only licensed to lend money. They lend this money from a big line of credit, then they sell the loans in the market, get the money back, and re-lend the money. Mortgage brokers do not have money of their own and are not licensed to lend money, but they specialize in originating and processing loans. We'll be right back with more on The Broker.
Every year, 350,000 people are diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. Who will be their caregivers?
I am a caregiver.
Yo soy la que cuida a mi abuelo.
I'm a caregiver.
Call 1-800-437-2423 for a free brochure from Alzheimer's Disease Research on caring for those you care for the most. 1-800-437-2423.
I'm a caregiver. Mom, you really look good.
Following the tragic events of September 11th, there have been hundreds of violent attacks against innocent Americans.
Remember what that flag you're waving stands for.
Remember, please stop the hate.
We're stronger when we are united.
Remember what that flag you're waving stands for.
One nation under God.
Indivisible.
With liberty
and justice
For all.
In America, there's either room for everyone, or it's not America. Don't pick the wrong fight.
Let's keep America land of the free.
Stop the hate.
We're at a crucial stage with energy usage. Prices are just too high. We need to cut consumption, and we need alternatives. That's what drove us to attempt the first static electricity-powered home. Static cells under the carpet collect energy and transfer it as needed throughout the house. Faster! Faster! Water's getting cold! Success has been elusive. It hasn't been everything we'd hoped. But besides making the house itself more energy efficient, the smartest thing we did, the bright spot, if you will, is that we equipped the house with Energy Star products, which use less juice and save money. Static electricity may not be viable, but hey, we've taken a step toward the future. Our future. Anyone can make their home more energy efficient.
Good night, sweetie.
Good night, Mommy.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. So we're going to talk about the 4 distinct departments in obtaining a mortgage loan: loan origination, loan processing, underwriting, and closing. We're going to start with loan origination. We're going to talk about the loan origination department. The first step in obtaining a loan is to speak with a loan officer. Some companies call them mortgage consultants or mortgage originators or loan officers. Same function, just a different name. The loan officer is going to ask for a list of items. They're going to want your 2 most recent federal 1040s. They're going to need 2 most recent pay stubs and hopefully the year-to-date earnings are on the pay stubs. 2 months bank statements, your latest bank statements, your latest mortgage statement, and a copy of a picture ID. Also, if you could provide your owner's title policy, that would be good and we'll go over that later on in the program. The loan officer will go through this information and determine whether you're qualified for the loan. Okay, now the way they do that, they calculate your debt ratio. They look at your income from your pay stubs and your tax returns. They will multiply that gross monthly income number by 0.45. Now the debt ratio can be higher, it may be lower in some instances depending on credit scores, so on and so forth. So you take your gross monthly income, you multiply it by 0.45, and all your debts have to fit within that ratio. It's basically a cut and dry process. There's no mystery to it. A lot of people think it's a mysterious part of this, but it's very cut and dry. So when the loan officer ascertains that you do qualify for the loan that you're applying for, he will move the documents to the loan processor, and this is the second department. A processor will order an appraisal, order a credit report, run you through electronic desktop underwriting, and prepare the documents. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Every year, 250,000 Americans are diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease.
My fellow scientists and I are working on treatments and a cure for this deadly disease.
Millions of lives are at stake. Alzheimer's disease affects 1 in 3 families.
We're committed to uncovering the mystery of Alzheimer's.
And we're not going to quit until the job is done.
To find out more about Alzheimer's disease, call 1-800-437-2423.
Only through research will a cure be found.
About a year ago, Mark and I thought, air pollution, global warming, how can we make a difference? So first things first, Mark modified our car. He harnessed the wind. Then he experimented with microwave technology and some sort of homemade energy source.
The best part is the car emits only helium.
Genius. Genius.
But the EPA says the energy we use in our home can cause twice the greenhouse gases of a car. So I went to EnergyStar.gov. I got tips on lighting, heating and cooling, and to look for the Energy Star on products we buy. As for Mark, he still marches to the beat of a different drum.
I figure why not let gravity do all the work, right?
I know I'm making a difference. I just look for the Energy Star.
The Environmental Protection Agency encourages you to visit EnergyStar.gov to discover what you can do to reduce air pollution.
This is firstgov.gov, where we're obsessed with getting you government information.
Brand new student loan applications on the site, baby. This calls for a celebration. Here's your uncle.
So in the end, it was either take the astronaut gig or come work here. What can I say? Duty called.
Dude, that's my cop.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure that's Sam's cop.
Oh, sorry?
Yeah. No. Sam's. No.
Just log on or email us and get what you need.
C, change of address form. That's how it's done.
D, driver's license renewal.
E, emailing Social Security information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice, we'll allow it. All right, Ed.
What are those?
Government surplus cars for auction.
You posted those online last time.
No, you did.
I'm posting them online this time!
For all your government information, firstgov.gov.
Welcome back. There are a lot of documents to sign. We're going to go through the bulk of them right now. We're going to start out with the 1003 application. The 1003 application, it's called a Fannie Mae 1003 or it's called a Freddie Mac Form 65. Okay, it's basically 5 pages. The first page has your name, your address, where you've lived the last 2 years, where you've worked for the last 2 years, your Social Security number, your birth date, and some other general information. Okay, the second page is what your monthly income is, how they've determined your monthly income, and there's also a balance sheet. The balance sheet, the left side is assets. The information will be taken directly from your bank statements. Then you have liabilities on the right side of that page, second page, And they will be populated, the liability section will be populated from the credit report in a lot of cases, but we still like to get the information for what your debts are, and then we will match those up with the credit report. Okay, the third page is your immigration status, whether you're a citizen, if you have a green card, work visa, the details of the transaction, the loan amount, closing cost. And the fourth page is the government monitoring. Make sure that the lender is not discriminating. Okay, the fifth page is just extra information if you have additional items that you weren't able to fit on the other pages. Okay, the next document, and one of the most important documents, the truth in lending disclosure. There are basically 4 boxes at the top of this form. The APR, the finance charge, amount financed, and the total of payments. The APR stands for annual percentage rate. Now, most people confuse this with the interest rate. The annual percentage rate does take into account the interest rate, but also other costs associated with getting the loan. But the APR is not the interest rate, and we'll go over that. We'll touch on that again. The finance charge is the amount the credit's going to cost you as a dollar amount. The APR is the amount the credit's going to cost you as a rate, an interest rate amount, but the finance charge is a dollar amount. Now, the next box, amount finance, people confuse this with loan amount. The amount finance is not the loan amount. Okay, the amount finance is the loan amount minus other fees that you're going to pay to get the mortgage. The total of payments will take the monthly payment and multiply it by the number of months, and will give you the total of all of those payments. Okay, we're going to move on to the next document, the good faith estimate. The good faith estimate is a total of all the charges associated with the loan. It breaks them down: the credit report, appraisal, tax service fee, the title insurance, the recording tax. So these items should match very closely to the final settlement statement. And when you go to closing, you should bring your good faith estimate with you to match those numbers with the settlement statement. Okay, then there's a document, your borrower's authorization and certification. It gives the mortgage company the authorization to get information from you from third parties, like banks or landlords. Basically a pretty easy document. Then there's a 4506. A 4506 gives the mortgage company authorization from you to get a copy of your tax returns from the Internal Revenue. Now, this is very important because every bank, every mortgage lender needs a 4506 signed, and they do get the tax returns that you've supplied. They have to match. We'll be right back with more. Don the Broker.
Misty watercolor memories of the way we were, the way we
Alzheimer's disease robs more than 4 million people of their precious memories every day, and new cases are increasing at an alarming rate. I'm Peter Falk. Let's work together to create a world without Alzheimer's.
Christopher, your word is SIPC.
Could you use it in a sentence, please?
In the unlikely event that your brokerage firm goes out of business, SIPC is there to protect you.
SIPC.
I'm sorry, Christopher, that is incorrect. Lisa Fannin. Lisa, your word also is SIPC.
May I have that in another sentence, please?
SIPC funds are available to satisfy brokerage customer claims up to a maximum of $500,000, including up to $100,000 for cash claims.
SIPC. S-I-P-K.
Don't know about SIPC, the Securities Investor Protection Corporation? That's okay. We can spell it out for you. Learn more at www.sipc.org.
Sure, my neighbors Jean and Louise, they may be superheroes with superpowers, but that doesn't make them so super at saving energy and money. I mean, I like them and all, but when Jean uses that power vision to cook dinner?
Honey?
Or when Louise or Starbright tries to save a little on the lighting bill?
Mom, a little light?
I may not be able to harness the power of the elements, but I save significant cash and help the environment with appliances, electronics, and windows featuring the Energy Star label. And I improved my home energy efficiency with insulation. My thermostat? Watch this. I'm just kidding. It's programmable. I don't have to lift a finger to save on AC and heating.
Mom, Dad's making fondue again.
So discover your own energy-saving superpowers. Go to ase.org/consumers.
Welcome back. Then we have a privacy policy. Notice the privacy policy is how the bank handles your private information. Some banks, some mortgage bankers, they sell other products, insurance, financial investments, and they would like to contact you. Now you can opt out on the form, and if you check off the form that you don't want to be contacted, they won't contact you. But they will try to contact to cross-sell you. So that's what this form is about. Program disclosure talks about the terms of your program. Are you on an adjustable rate mortgage? Are you on a fixed rate? It has an example of how your loan amortizes. There's a section in there whether or not there's a prepayment penalty. If you're late payments, if you're more than 15 days late, you'll pay a late charge. If you sell the property, then the loan is due and payable. Okay. Then you have the credit report score disclosure, and the credit report score disclosure is a document that gives you your credit report score. The scores, banks didn't really give up those scores in the past, but it's very important that you know what the score is, because the higher the score, the better interest rate you're going to get when you finally go to closing. Okay, after you've signed all these documents, you've given the loan officer and the processor all the documents they've requested, everything moves into the underwriting department. We'll be right back with more. Don the Broker.
Here's something to think about. New research shows that regular exercise and a heart-healthy diet may help to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Thinking ahead now might make all the difference tomorrow. For more ways to maintain your brain, visit the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org.
Every day, computers help our lives and businesses run smoothly. And every day, they're potential targets. Viruses, spyware, and scams are relentlessly being updated, making it easier for hackers and thieves to steal information and control your computer. Protect yourself. Get in the habit of keeping your cybersecurity up to date. Learn how at staysafeonline.org today.
Welcome back. Now, the underwriting department, the definition of underwriting is risk evaluation. An underwriter is a risk evaluator. They determine whether or not your loan is risky. They determine whether or not you're going to make the payment based on your prior financial situation. Credit scores have a lot to determine that also. Credit scores play a major role in determining whether you're going to be a good credit risk or you're going to be a risk. Now, mortgage companies aren't the only industries that have underwriting departments. Insurance companies have underwriters and underwriting departments. If you're applying for medical insurance, they're going to do a medical exam and determine if you're a medical risk. If you're applying for automobile insurance, they're going to check to see get your driving record, see if you're a bad driver and you're an auto risk. Stock brokerage firms will have underwriting departments. They check companies to check their viability and to see if they want their customers buying any of the stocks. They don't want to put their customers in risky investments, although they try not to. A lot of times recently that's not, as hard as they try, it seems like the stocks you can take a beating on some stocks. So there are other industries that use underwriting, so it's a very generic term. It's a misunderstood term a lot of times, but when you go through the underwriting department, that's when you're pretty much at the end of the process. Now, one of the things that tends to happen, the loan officer has asked you for information, the processor has asked you for information, and now the underwriter is coming back saying, well, I don't feel comfortable with this, I need something else, or you missed something. I want you to provide an explanation for this or provide other documentation. So the underwriter may come back and ask for things, and that can be very frustrating after you've already been through this. But don't take it personal, because it happens about 95% of the time. So at least when the underwriter is asking for something, you know you're at the end of the line here. So when your loan is clear to close, it moves into the closing department. And the closing department will interface with a settlement attorney that you've picked, or maybe the mortgage company may have picked someone for you if you didn't have a preference on a company. The closing department will contact the closing attorney. The mortgage company will prepare all the documents, the note, the deed of trust, all the legal documents and closing instructions, send them to the attorney, and arrange for your closing. So the documents that you're going to see in the closing, a lot of documents, different set of documents. There's going to be a note. It's going to tell when your first payment starts, when the note will be paid in full, what your interest rate is, what your loan amount is. And then a deed of trust. A deed of trust is a document that places the lien on your property. Okay? The deed of trust gets recorded in the land records. There's a trustee that is the intermediary between you and the bank. As long as you make your payments on time, there isn't a problem. So when you start, you're supposed to make your payment on the first of the month. You have a 15-day grace period. Then you have to pay a late fee. If you go over 30 days late, technically you're in default. Now, the bank will not start foreclosure proceedings probably for a long time, but theoretically, when you're 30 days in default, they can give you a 30-day notice. The whole process could happen in 90 to 120 days, but it usually doesn't. It's usually a lot longer than that. But so the deed of trust is a document that establishes the lien on the property. And there are going to be other documents that you sign earlier on in the loan application. It's just a redisclosure of those same documents. Now, when you purchase a property, there's a deed involved. A deed is different from a deed of trust from the standpoint a deed shows ownership going from a seller to a buyer. But there are times in refinances where the deed issues do come up where a deed needs to be signed. Maybe someone is coming off, is not going to be on the new loan that was on the loan before. Or there are cases where there are correction deeds. If a deed was executed wrong, then there are correction deeds that take care of things like that. So there is a possibility that you may see a deed. Then you're going to have your settlement statement, which is basically all of the charges. It's supposed to be very close to the good faith estimate, although there are times when things have to be added, things to be taken off. For example, if you want to subordinate a second trust, then there's usually a subordination fee that can be on there, or one of the parties to the transaction needs to do a power of attorney. Well, there's a power of attorney fee. So the numbers can change somewhat, but they should be pretty close if the loan amount is the same. If the loan amount changes a little bit, the recording tax could change. So the good faith estimate and the settlement statement can vary due to circumstances, different circumstances. But for the most part, they should be fairly close. We hope you've enjoyed this program, and hopefully this information has been beneficial to you. Now, on upcoming programs, we will discuss short sales, reverse mortgages, FHA loans, including the 203K and 203B, VA loans, home equity lines of credit, and the new laws that have affected both the mortgage and banking industry. If you have any questions, please call us at 703-385-2000. That's 703-385-2000. Or if you'd like to email us, you can do so at donbruce@cox.net. That's donbruce@cox.net. Or you can visit our website at www.fmgi.co. That's www.fmgi for First Mortgage Group Inc.co. You can get additional information there. There's a section for calculators and tools. You can put a loan amount in and an interest rate, a number of months, get your monthly payment. This is very handy to try different scenarios. You can do this 24 hours a day. There's also a section for properties for sale. If you're looking for certain property in a zip code, whether it be a single family or a condo or a townhouse, there's plenty of information about that. You can also apply for a loan online 24 hours a day. And the interest rates are updated daily in there, so you can get the interest rate quote. If you have any questions, please call us at 703-385-2000. That's 703-385-2000, or you can send us an email at donbruce@cox.net. You can go to our website for additional info, www.fmgi.co. On our next program, we will discuss short sales and reverse mortgages. If you would like to be a guest on our program or sponsor a program, please write us at 2929 Eskridge Road, Merrifield, Virginia. Thank you.